So how are you? How is your 2026 thus far? Do you celebrate a traditional New Year on January 1st, New Year's Eve into January? Or are you someone who believes that the New Year is on some other day, like March 20th or April 1st, or I don't know, there's a few of them out there. The helical rise of Sirius on the horizon after its long absence in the sky. That's one. How is your Christmas? Do you celebrate that still, or have you realized, the truth for you? I feel a lot of people are stepping back from Christmas a bit. They're starting to see it as much more of a consumer holiday, right? It doesn't have the same, and it's not something energetically, we're not meant to be that kind of hustle and bustle at this time of year. We're actually meant to be more reflective, more in stillness and peace, right? We're meant to be in a more reflective space. It's very, very white here. When you get the snow, I don't know if you live in an area where there is snow, but if you do, when you get the snow and it just covers the outside of the branches of the trees and it like coats the entire tree in this like white outline. That's what is out there right now, plus all kinds of snow. It's very similar. Hi, Maisie. It's very similar to hoarfrost. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Oops. I don't know why my phone is listening.
I didn't
Nope. We're not listening. Please don't listen. I don't like it when the phone does that. But yeah, so very, very beautiful, but it has that very still quality to it. When you look outside and it's just coated in this white winter wonderland, and it has this very quiet atmosphere to it. It's very still, and you just want to approach time more slowly when it's in that particular moment, right? Because we're meant to flow in harmony with nature. We're also meant to flow in harmony with the living sky, and to look at what planets are where in the sky and how that's impacting not just the energy of you, but maybe the energy of the collective. So you get some insight into that. And it's not about a personality test. That's not what Krystic astrology is about, or what True Sidereal is based in. True Sidereal is actually based in the living sky as it truly is. Traditional astrology isn't. Traditional astrology is based in a sky that was frozen 2,000 years ago. So I like to work with the living sky. That doesn't change the other way. You can still work with that, and you can work with that in tangent with the other format, because this isn't about your personality. It's not about identifying in that way. So we're going to look at what the alignments are for today. And we are also going to look at embodiment, and really what I'm teaching is the Krystic way, or the Krystic path. It's embodiment, it's living the truth. It's not religion. It's just a belief in a higher power, belief in one creator. It's a belief in, in things like, but not in Christianity or in any other religion, right? It's not based in religion, it's spirituality. So that's what I teach. I just teach you how to live in harmony with the planets, the sky, yourself, right? And embody your truth. Because that's how we create the new earth, right? Many of us come along and we identify at some point in time and we're like, I think I'm a chosen one, or I think I'm a light worker, or I think I'm a starseed, or whatever. There's a ton of different terms out there. So those people think that maybe they came down to awaken society. Maybe they came down, for this big purpose, this big mission. How many of them are actually living it? And if you're one of those people, are you embodying your truth? Are you living the truth of what you think you came down here to do? And that's what I teach. So those types of things. And it is January 2nd. So let's look at the sky. We'll do a little check-in on that. And like I said, I am on TikTok down here, and I am on YouTube and Facebook up on the top. So you'll see me looking up and down and all around, because sometimes I'm looking at the name down in the corner as if I'm speaking directly to your little icon, as opposed to looking as if I'm looking at you. So anyway, I'm working on it. Okay, so let's look at what we have today, because today is January 2nd. I did not go live yesterday. My lives going forward will be at 1:44 p.m. Mountain Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we will look at the sky, the living sky, and what's happening for the week and how to work with it. And then on Thursdays, we're going to look at the Krystic truth and living in the embodied way, right? Living the path that you came here to live. So, I lost my thing. I lost my thing. Hang on. All right. Where am I? Okay. I'm like, where are my notes? Because I have notes written on this. Of course, I can't remember all of this all through from the top to the bottom. So the fire's not gone. We're in Sagittarius season still. The sun is in Sagittarius, and in fact, 3 other planets are accompanying the sun in the sign of Sagittarius. And that's Venus, which is about attraction, relationships, desires. Then we have Mercury, which is about thoughts, communication, technology, and also Mars. So Mars is forward momentum. And really, Mars and Venus are kind of similar to the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. So we have these great energies that are all in Sagittarius, including the sun. These energies, or the energy of Sagittarius, being applied to those planets, is the energy of truth, direction, right? And Sagittarius wants to be firing you in the aligned direction, but it's going to fire you in whatever direction. If you're not clear, it's going to be chaotic. You're going to be scrambled. You're going to be going all over the place, because Sagittarius wants that forward momentum. And that's going to be coming up in pursuing your desires, in your thoughts, right? You're going to want to speak truthfully. You're going to, your thoughts are going to be more aligned, more clear, right? You want them to be that way. But those 4 planets and all of that energy is not the only energy that we're contending with. When we're looking at the sky and we're actually working with the living sky as it is, we want to be looking at the moon and how it is affecting things, because the moon is your emotional landscape. That's a pretty big landscape, especially when many people did not get taught emotional intelligence, right? They didn't get taught how to soothe themselves or how to be mature with their emotions, because their parents traumatized them, because, well, they were probably traumatized and so on and so forth. And it was just generation after generation filtering down until it gets to the person that says enough. So when we're looking at the moon today, the moon is transiting from Taurus. And at this point now it's in Gemini, which is why I went live a little later than I typically do. And that's because now the moon is in Gemini, which is a sign when in the moon is conducive for teaching. So what a perfect time to have a live rather than earlier, which was more about embodiment and, just taking things more slowly and grounded and rooted energy. So Taurus is the this deep clarity, right? This embodiment, in your bones when it's aligned, right? And it's the quiet that you want to attain that we were doing this morning, which was allowing us to gather before we ignite and move forward. So this is the inhale before the collective exhale. This year was a quiet ending. There wasn't a lot of fireworks with the way that the planets aligned. It was not that type of explosive energy. It was a lot more reflective. We were sitting inside Sagittarius with a lot of the alignments, which is about truth and direction. But it wasn't, but Sagittarius isn't that explosive, fiery energy, or that real ignition energy that like Aries is. So it ended with truth, the year. And the new year isn't beginning with a big bang. Hi, Nemo. It's beginning with a vow, because Sagittarius wants you to move forward in truth and in alignment so that you're headed in the right direction clearly. And this is the moment when the noise is fading and Source is asking you some real questions. Okay. So we're going to talk about the tone of 2026. Okay. And this is just about reading the field of energy. I went through the Living Sky, which you can access online too. You can go check out every site that I talk about. I refer you to. theskylive.com is the planetary alignment site that I look at, so I can track the planet alignments through the skies. When I'm doing True Sidereal natal charts, I use masteringthezodiac.com, and I encourage that if you're interested in looking at your chart, you can go to masteringthezodiac.com and get a free chart done for yourself. If you want an interpretation done that's much deeper than what's there, you can connect with me. And I'm also going to take any distortions out of the planets and the zodiac signs and all of that. So you're going to get a very clear look at how we're supposed to use the living sky in alignment with our design. Okay. So this year is not a year of rushing. Okay. It begins with no planets in Aries, Leo, or Ophiuchus, which are 3 planets where the energy is much faster. The fire energy is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is philosophical, it's observational, it's refining. Like I said, Sagittarius wants to be clear in the direction that it's heading. It wants the truth, it wants alignment, and it wants to head in that direction with certainty. So our words at this time, because of the Sagittarius energy, matter more than ever because it's in Sagittarius, so the truth matters. Our love in Venus, right, is also in Sagittarius, and it must be soul aligned, not superficial. Sagittarius doesn't really tolerate that. And our action must be sacred, which is Mars in Sagittarius, because that's what Mars is about, is action, right? So this field is, I'm in Canada, in Alberta. So the field is asking for aligned speech. It's asking for sacred action, for soul vibrational integrity, and above all, patience with the process, right? You have to remain patient. So we begin with the moon in an earth sign with the Taurus moon, and Taurus is also where the planet Uranus is stationed right now. So we're building slowly, we're choosing wisely, and we are being entrained to become keepers of wisdom, not repeaters of noise, not relevant. So the planetary chorus is a glimpse of the year ahead, okay? So Mercury's journey this year is going to go through all 13 signs. So it's going through the entire full wheel with a retrograde in Aquarius. This is a mind reset that's happening. So this is a year to reclaim clear thought, because your communication will separate the real from the false, both within and around you. So everybody's going to be very aware of lies that are being spoken, and we're going to be wanting the truth, right? So it's a very powerful year. We also have Venus through 2026 going through the entire wheel as well, ending in Libra. So this feminine energy, which is what Venus represents, will undergo a full refinement process. The sacred feminine is being polished, she's being returned, she's being crowned. So by December of next year, love's not going to look the same as it did this year. Okay, there's a lot that's going to go on with Venus transiting through all the signs. Mars's path, it is transiting from fire to earth to air to water, which means it's transiting through all four elements. So the masculine, which is what the Mars energy represents, that masculine within us needs to learn the elemental language of all the elements, right? So that's an important thing. We also have Jupiter, which is traveling from Gemini to Cancer and then into Leo. So the mind is it's going from mind to emotion to creative leadership. So you will not think your way into abundance. You must feel your way into embodied presence. It's about the truth. It's about being in truth, right? Who are you? What is aligned with you? What lights you up? What makes you, what are you passionate about? What do you believe you're meant to bring to the world? How are you serving the collective, right? We're all meant to do that, to serve the collective in some way. And it doesn't have to be the way that I am. Somebody could make organizational systems. That's a tangible way that you're serving people, because believe me, if you're somebody that struggles with organization, those systems are pretty handy, right? So you're helping somebody. So there's a lot of ways that we can serve the collective. You just have to look at what you're doing and how that is serving. And is that the way that you want to serve? Is it in alignment with you? Right? What are the things that you're doing each day? Are you connecting with nature? Are you connecting with people? Right? How are your relationships? Do you have quality relationships? Is there depth in your life? Right? Is your life a pattern, a cycle? Is it chaotic? Is it calm? Is it peaceful? How are you in the stillness and in the quiet? Right? Do you unravel when it's really, really calm and peaceful? Do you look for something to distract yourself? Or can you sit in it? That's not my function. We have Jupiter, which is in Gemini, and then it moves into Cancer and then to Leo. Okay, so this is about feeling our way into that embodied presence. Saturn is leaving Aquarius and going into Pisces, and that's actually happening this month on the 15th, which is a big day. I have a Krystic Wealth Activation Series, which is a 3-day series that starts on the 13th and ends on the 15th for that very reason. The shift of Pisces or into Pisces, and then later on it does shift into a not very well-known constellation called Cetus. So this is just a smaller constellation, but Saturn will be there for, let me see here, 11 years, just about like 10 and a half years, something like that, 10 and a half, 11 years. So that's a long time. So I thought it bared being discussed. So structure is going to become soul-based. And the great teacher, which is Saturn, is not interested in performance. So you will be asked to embody your spiritual contracts. So whatever you said you were going to come here to do, it's go time. It's time to stop saying, I'm gonna start that company. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop saying it. Do it or stop saying it. Get clear, right? That's what this energy is going to ask of us this year, right? So the field is not expecting more speed, more sales, more followers, more effort. This isn't a year about hustle and grind. This is about know your truth, align with it, and then take action from that space. And then things align to you. That's the way that true manifestation happens. Okay. You can look at it from the sense of, if you say really, 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 really wanted to win a marathon, you can't do that if you've never ran, right? And you can't sit there and think 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 and then just go run a marathon. Like you have to physically do something. And you can say, well, there's studies done, and there's studies done where individuals meditated, envisioning themselves working out, and they actually saw physical gains similar to what individuals who actually worked out gained doing the exercises over the same time frame. And they had a control group who did neither. They didn't visualize, and they didn't work out, and they saw no gain, and even some loss. So anyway, these you can envision and you can do work with vision, but you're still going to be doing something. You're going to be actively sitting down and spending time envisioning that particular thing, like spending time envisioning yourself running long distances, right? Day after day after day after day. But you're still going to have to get out there and do it. You're going to, if you want to really run a marathon, right? It's not, you can't just believe that you're going to put on your shoes one day and run 26 kilometers and win a medal. It's not going to happen like that, right? There are some truths that have to exist. So whatever you want, know what you want, so you know what that truth is of that particular thing, and get clear with what the truth is. Because oftentimes we have preconceived notions or assumptions that we're making of what it is required to have that, right? We'll look at other people and we'll be like, oh, they've got millions of followers and they're doing these things. And you're like, oh, well, you know, she's got a low cut top and wearing lots of makeup and, you know, she's dancing on the screen all the time. And so that's what I have to do to get followers, right? So you think to yourself, that's what I have to do. That's a misconception. You don't have to do those things in order to have followers. You just have to align with your truth and show up with some element of consistency, right? There is those things that have to happen, right? So there are some truths. So this field for 2026 is expecting integrity. It's wanting clarity. It's wanting embodied resonance. It's wanting sovereign alignment, and it's wanting maturity of choice. So the sacred flame of 2026 is not a firework. It is a soul torch. Okay. So you're not going to be allowed to outrun yourself anymore. We didn't just cross a date. Okay. We're crossing a frequency. And the true year will not begin until your field says yes, right? Whatever aligns with you, allow that to align with you. If you align with the concept that there's 13 months, 28 days, 13 signs and all of that, then allow that to align with you. If you align with the fact that there's 12 months, 12 signs, you know, New Year's just happened yesterday. I had to look at the time. New Year's was yesterday. You know, like that's your alignment, right? And if anything changes, it'll change with you, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's absolutely allowed. My alignment for me is, like I said, to look at the sky and see where the planets are and work with them as they are. And I like to work with Krystic Astrology and True Sidereal. So the true new year begins when you say it does. Time's an illusion anyway. It's all man-made, right? So let the fireworks fade, let the ego sleep, and let the sacred vow rise, because, right, this is the year where it's going to call you to stand in your truth. Who are you? Who did you come here to be? What did you come here to do? So it's time to ask yourself, how do I want to feel this year? What will I no longer pretend to be? And what can I let go of so I can carry the truth more gently, right? Because maybe there's a distortion. Maybe there's a belief system that you've been holding on to that you haven't examined. And, you know, you don't know where you got it. Someone gave it to you, and now you have this belief system. Well, that's okay. Look at it. Where'd you get it from? Why is it there? Does it hold to the truth? Does it sit in your system? Do you feel grounded when you examine it? Or does it make you feel foggy or confused or anxious or so on and so forth? You should feel safe. You should feel grounded, or you should feel expansive. But there should be that rooted feeling with whatever it is that's aligned with you, with your truth. So the moon entered Taurus just after midnight on the 31st, and it's time to ground the fire, right? So let's do a quick little signature recap on today. We've got the sun in Sagittarius. Okay. Hello. This is our energy recap. So the sun in Sagittarius, the solar light pierces illusions with radiant arrows of truth, that great Sagittarius energy. This is the energy of divine pursuit, not of blind optimism, but of sacred alignment with mission. Sagittarius burns away distortion and lights the path of higher gnosis. You're being asked to walk as the Christ bearer of revelation, one who carries not just light, but the intelligence of divine fire. We've got the moon, which is in Taurus, and then it goes into a smaller constellation called Auriga, which is the charioteer, and then it goes into Gemini. So now it's in Gemini, and I waited for it to transition into Gemini before I did my live, because the energy in Gemini is better energy for teaching than it was where the moon was earlier. So today is a threefold moon, because it was only in Auriga for just under 8 hours. And this created that procession of it moving from an earth sign through the celestial charioteer into an air sign, which is the sacred mind, Gemini. So Taurus in the early hours was grounding in the physical body wisdom. It was anchoring your physical or your frequency, through breath, nourishment, and touch. And I did feel that energy this morning. I was much slower. I had a nice, relaxing, easy morning. I moved slower. I painted. I just had a nice day embodying the energy as it was. As the day progressed into the afternoon, mid-morning, there was a connect to divine guardianship, because Auriga holds the codes of divine stewardship and protection. It's a great time to tend to the planetary field or call celestial chariots. That was around the time that I went out and went for a walk and interacted with nature. And then by midday, which is where we are now, the mind awakens, the lunar light stimulates sacred communication, spiritual studies, and a sharing of encoded truth, which is why I'm doing the live now. So in sunrise, a sunrise embodiment practice followed by midday teaching, channeling, or sharing is the energy of today, which is again why I'm here in the afternoon. So the inner planet synastry is focused fire alignment. 4 planets were in Sagittarius: Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Sun. But when we're looking at those 3, it's all about the inner temple, right? Your divine speech is Mercury. This is about speaking the truth clearly and phonetically, or prophetically, phonetically too, sure. Make sure you're speaking clearly. Because it is time to share your teachings without apology. It's divine desire in Venus. So let love be expansive and soul directed. Attract not what comforts, but what's activating you. And we have divine action, which is Mars, and this is focused sacred momentum. So there is no space for scattered energy. You are launching arrows towards destiny. So our embodiment note for this triple alignment is that it holds dragon fire frequencies. This is, use them in your rituals or in your transmissions. A very powerful energy. Use dragon's blood is a great Nope, my brain just went, nope. Thank you. I appreciate you, brain. Essential oil. An essential oil would be, it would be a great one to use. So we've got our outer planets, guardianship. So we've got Jupiter in Gemini, which is rapid expansion through teaching, sharing, and mental alchemy. This is a teacher's blessing to have Gemini in Jupiter, and it's been in there for a little while. Gemini leaves, or Jupiter leaves Gemini June 21st this year and moves into Cancer. So that'll change the energy at that particular time. So the more you communicate, the more your field grows. We have Saturn in Aquarius, and this is about building structures that support unity. Okay, so there's a unity mindset that's there. That Aquarius energy is concerned with the collective and forward collective. Like this is innovative, out of the box thinking that the energy of Aquarius is. So this is guardian circles, divine councils, and sacred societies are supported right now. We have Uranus in Taurus, which is physical earth upgrades are continuing. The food, body, and resources must be aligned with new light. So I think a lot of people are starting to turn away from fake food, right? Like artificial food. We're starting to just not align with that. Many of us wanting to just, see more natural things, whether it's in our cupboards, in our pantries, or that we're actually doing stuff like that at our own homes, with things that we're growing, right? So we also have Neptune in Pisces, and this is the dream realms are active. There's deep soul journeys, prophecy, and oceanic remembrance flow with ease at this time. Neptune moves into August 2029, so it's not moving for quite some time. Same thing with Gemini. With Uranus being in Taurus, it doesn't move until 2033. The next two planets to move are definitely Saturn on the 15th of this month, and then Jupiter on the 21st when we're looking at the larger planets. And the rest of them aren't moving until much later, like I said, 29, 33, 40, way out there. All right, so we have the food. No, we have Pluto, Pluto in Capricorn. So this is purification of outdated systems. And this is what we're seeing in the collective energy. While many people are saying that it is the age of Aquarius, it isn't. It doesn't become the age of Aquarius until Pluto moves into Aquarius, which happens approximately January 21st, 2040. So we're still quite some time away from what is actually the age of Aquarius. The energy of Pluto, though, in Capricorn, like this is dad energy. This is dad. He wants the truth. He's integrity. Like this is the divine masculine energy, right? This isn't what we consider, to just be man energy or male energy, right? It's not like that. This is the true divine masculine energy and the representation of that, and that in this energy of Capricorn, which governs responsibility. And so Capricorn's also concerned with legacy. It wants to take care of the family long term. So it's looking at how can I take what we're doing and make it last, and to create a nest egg and to care for that generation and the next generation that's coming. So when they're doing that, they want to be aligned, right? Like dads are, when they're in their divine masculine energy, it's in integrity. Right? They're aligned with that integrity. So anything that's fake or false wants to be destroyed and the structure is taken down. And all of these outdated systems are being purified now, especially institutions of power, control, and material dominance, because that is Capricorn energy, right? It's governing those types of things as that divine masculine. So our elemental alignment that we have fire in Sagittarius, Sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So this is a full internal flame activation. Light codes, declarations, and ceremonial fireworks are great ideas for the energy of today. We have the Earth moon going from Taurus into Auriga, which is grounding your flame into that form. And then we have the air element by Gemini moon and Jupiter, which we're in Gemini moon now. So this is movement through sound, word, and idea. Gemini is always moving. We have water, which is represented by Neptune and Pisces. So this is that soft backdrop of a dream, infusing your fire with some compassion. The ether gate is open through Auriga, which is a rare opening for starcraft, chariots, and ascended beings to interface through divine will. So you're not lost. You're launching. That's what the Sagittarius energy is. It's about launching you in the direction of what it is that you came here to do, right? You have a dream. Every one of us have a dream, whether you believe that you were born with it, that you acquired it somewhere along your path, or you brought it with you from before. However you think, many of us believe that we have a purpose, or that we have at some point at least acquired a passion in something. There's a reason why you have the passions that you have, right? And those are the things that you're meant to pursue. You're meant to do the things that light you up, not the things that drain you. That's what's aligned with you. So this year does not require your reaction. It requires your initiation. So if you're having very reactionary moments, you need to be looking at, why is that so? What is it about that is causing, that has that control over you? Because that's what that reaction is something external has control over you. Because once you're reactionary, you're not in control of your emotions, right? That if you were, you'd be responding. And so it's an opportunity to learn, right? So examine those things. So the Krystic flame within you has chosen its mark, whether that's, like I said, something you believe that you brought with you or born with, acquired, sent yourself in with from, like your spirit, your oversoul said, I am creating this pathway for you. This is what we're coming in to do, right? Now is the time to fly straight. It's to say enough is enough. If I think I'm here to do something, I'm going to do it this year. It's time. We're in a 1 year. This is a beginning. This is time to go, time to start. So release the mission codes, burn with sovereign clarity, speak, move, light the way, right? If there's so many of us that think that we're here for these specific purposes. And if you're somebody that identifies with that, then this is speaking to you. If you think that you came here, say, to wake people up, are you doing that? Are you doing what the thing is that you think that you have to do? Are you doing the thing that you have passion for? Are you embodying your truth? Right? Let's say, we can go into a lot of depth with that. But I don't think that I'm looking to go into that much depth on today's live. We'll keep it a little lighter than that. Maybe in one of my groups, you can join me there and we'll talk. We'll get a little more in depth on some of these topics. All right. So today's sky is carrying a very clear message. This year is not asking you to finalize anything yet. It's just asking you to orientate yourself. So with the sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all in Sagittarius, right? That is moving. We're moving forward with that very much solar energy. Okay. So my throat is so dry right now. So today is the true beginning, the second, not the first, not the turning of the calendar. Today is when the body and the nervous system and the field are ready to re-engage because of where the energy is at this time. So with the sun, Mercury, Venus, and Mars all in Sagittarius, we are not easing into the new year mentally, but the moon reminds us that embodiment must come first because it's in Taurus. So it's asking for that. So January 2nd is not about momentum yet. It's about orientation. It's about asking yourself, what am I grounding into form this year? What truth am I willing to live consistently? It's what you do consistently that builds your future, right? If every day you get up and do the same thing, guess what you're going to have? The same thing. Nothing's changing in your life when you're doing the same thing day after day, right? Like, you have to know that. So what are you doing consistently? Because that's the truth you're living. That's what you're agreeing for your future. So what is the path that you're actually walking? Right? And this is where, Kryst or Christ, however you pronounce the word, is consciousness begins, right? When you think about Christmas and you think about Christopher and you think about those words, it's Kryst, right? But you will see and, or hear it pronounced Christ. I do say it as Kryst. Okay. So the moon moves through Taurus, then Auriga, then into Gemini, and that sequence matters because Taurus is grounding us in the body, Auriga lifts perspective and steadies direction, and then Gemini is activating communication, learning, and choice. This is a teaching day, but not teaching from the mind. This is teaching from the body into the mind. And this is why embodiment must precede expression. If you're not clear about what you're teaching, how are you teaching it? If you're not, how are you living it if you don't know the truth? Or if you're not, if you're not engaging in it. So we're talking about coherence, right? When we're talking about the Krystic way, we're talking about coherence, not belief. Okay, so this is how truth moves through your body, the nervous system, the emotional field, the mind, and then finally into action. Truth that is not embodied becomes distortion. It's something that's out of alignment with your field. If you, and I say this all the time, if you think that, let's say that you thought that red dye was the most horribly toxic, terrible thing in the world, and that it, caused, all these behavioral things and anxiety and on and on and on and on and on. And you believed that with every bit of you, but yet you still ate certain foods that contained that, or you were feeding your children foods that contained that because, they really like Lucky Charms. So you're still letting them have Lucky Charms every day. That's something that is out of coherence with you. That's causing chaos or distortion in your field. That's not being embodied in your truth, right? If you know that it's not good for you, the fact that you keep doing it, you're keeping yourself out of alignment. So it's about living in that embodiment. So truth that is embodied becomes law, which is how we change the world. Okay. God, just I had to take a big drink because I was really thirsty. So Kryst Consciousness, or Kryst Consciousness, depending on how you pronounce it, tomato, is not ascension fantasy. Okay, it's not bypass, it's not perfection. It is the living alignment between divine truth and human action. It is the choice to live honestly, to act with integrity, to regulate yourself instead of react, to embody wisdom instead of performing it. So you're not pretending, right? You're actually doing and standing on it, right? For years now, when I start my lives on TikTok, I always start it up and then I share it out and I say, I'm sharing because sharing is caring, and I lead by example. Because that is that embodied part of it, right? I'm embodying what I'm asking of other people, right? I'm not sitting here telling you, you should meditate every day. Meanwhile, I haven't meditated in years. I don't say that. I actually meditate every day. I meditate every morning, half an hour minimum, and sometimes throughout the day as well. It depends on what I feel like. Some days I really feel like meditating a lot. Or just being really quiet, or I'll paint, I'll do watercolors and meditate during that. So those are things that I do. But this is what we are all meant to do. learn the truth, live it. And when we live it, we create the new earth that we all say we want so dang bad. But it starts with you, and then that grows to other people, it flows and it grows and it keeps expanding, and that's how the wave happens. Okay. This is where transformation actually happens. So I use True Sidereal and astrology as a tool, not as an escape. Okay. We're not meant to completely use these things as ways of escaping things. Right? True Sidereal uses the living sky. So it's looking at what's actually going, what is reflecting at us, right? It's not symbols that are divorced from reality or archetypes that were frozen back in time. The sky today is clear. Fire energy is activating truth and direction. Earth energy is stabilizing embodiment. Air energy is preparing communication, and water energy remains subtle and intuitive. This is not a time to predict, it's a time to align. And so many of us are looking for prediction. Do you know what prediction, like when you're looking for someone to predict your future, signals to the universe? That you're afraid of the outcome. You're not certain, you don't believe, right? You don't have faith. So there's an amount of lack that exists there. So when you're running around going, well, I wonder can I get a card? Can you tell me what's going to happen here? Can you tell me what's going to happen there? Can you, right? Because there's that fear of like, what's coming next? What's happening, right? So you're casting fear into that environment. So these tools are important to use, but you're using them in the right way, not as that crutch, right? So we want to be using it as an alignment. So what does embodiment look like right now with all of this fire energy and everything else that we're dealing with collectively with the celestial bodies? It's asking us to ground before we speak, to feel before we decide, to stabilize before we expand, and to choose accuracy over urgency. If something wants to move quickly, pause. If something wants to root deeply, honor it. Your body knows the timing. But when sometimes we rush things out of that space of urgency, which again is broadcasting to the field that there is fear or lack, or you aren't broadcasting that you trust the field, right? That's not what you're broadcasting when you're doing that. That urgency is like, I got to get it out there now. I got to get this broadcast. I got to get this done. I got to get this out there. I got to get this advertising. Right? If you're doing that, then you're broadcasting to the field that you don't trust that you're going to get what you require, right? By what you're putting out there, that the return isn't what you're expecting, right? There's an urgency. So allow your body to help you determine the timing of things because it feels the right time, right? Because it feels grounded and rooted, not because you feel like you have to get it done right now because you're just like super urgent. So this is the work that I teach. I teach about the Krystic way, the Krystic path, Krystic astrology, True Sidereal, however you want to, those terms, I use them somewhat interchangeably. I teach the Krystic way, embodiment, bridge to light phase 1 and 2, membership spaces, truth-based guidance, and all of it exists for one reason. And that is because we need to help truth become livable. Okay? We need to live the truth. This is not inspirational, not theoretical, lived. The truth has to become livable. So let's place a hand on our heart and a hand on our abdomen. Okay. And I want you to just take a nice breath in and out. Just slow yourself down and connect. Right? You can even drop your awareness behind your heart for a minute. You know how your nervous system is. the more elevated that your nervous system is, or the more chaotic or fast your mind is, the more breathing slow and deep that you should do. So you can allow yourself to fall into that space that comes up when you do a nice slow exhale. And like I said, when you place your awareness behind your heart, that changes things as well. So once you get into that space, you're going to ask yourself some questions. And the first one is, what truth am I grounding into form this year? Mm-hmm. The next question, what pace does my body require? The final question, what am I no longer willing to rush? So take another deep breath all the way down into your belly, through your nose. And then exhale nice and slow and long. And repeat after me. I allow truth to take shape through me. I choose embodiment over urgency. Okay. So if you feel resonance with this, you can come out to on Sha'Ryah.com and check out the site. There's a free membership group called the Temple of Light, and you can hang out there for free. I do have lots of things that are coming up. I have a 3-day webinar that is on the 13th, 14th, and 15th of this month. And it is the Krystic Wealth Activation Series. So this is about aligning with true abundance. So that series is $44.44 Canadian. So depending on where you are in the world, it could be significantly cheaper between the US dollar and the euro and stuff. You guys are really at an advantage. And it is available worldwide. You can either attend it live or you can get access to the recording afterwards. And there's lots of stuff that you get along with it. There's a pinned post on my profile that talks about it. And you can always go to the website and find out more information under the events tab. But for sure, check out the website. And if there's anything you see there that you have any questions about, you can either send me an email or you can sign up for a free clarity call, which is available on the site, very easy to find. And it also gives you access to all of my social media, so you can follow me at other channels in the event that anything ever happens on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or something like that. And yeah, definitely join the free group because I post a lot of stuff there that goes into depth. There's a companion post that's there today, which give me 2 seconds to go to it. And I've done so many different things today. Reminding myself what it is called. So it's an evening companion practice called Moon Bridge. And this is that transition from Taurus into Gemini. So it's this beautiful meditative practice. It's 6 minutes and 6 seconds in length, so less than 10 minutes of your time. Although I do encourage when the recording ends to just sit there in stillness for a little bit afterwards. But again, completely free and available on my site. And there's lots of other activations, meditations, journal prompts, and so on and so forth. And then there's other membership groups that are paid membership groups that begin at $11.11 and go up to $44.44 Canadian that are available as well, depending on how much you want to deepen and explore. But you can check all that stuff out at my website, and also check out the books that I have available on Amazon and also on my website under the shop tab. I write a lot of spiritual books, and I write a lot of books targeted at children. I have Jessie Learns to Create Calm Spaces, which teaches children how to create a calm space if they're dealing with anxiety or panic or just, chaotic emotions or unstable emotions. It teaches them a couple of different practices. One is based in color theory. So it teaches children to identify what color is associated with an emotion. And once they identify that color, it also, Calm Spaces teaches the 4-element mindfulness technique, which is the first element is earth. So it's about grounding. So it teaches the child to ground. The second element is the air element. So that's about breathing. So it teaches the child to do a slow, deep breath, to slow down their breathing. It gives a couple things in that way. The next technique is the water technique, which teaches a couple of tricks. One, either wetting your palate, but it teaches you a specific technique to wet your palate with your tongue. Like run your tongue across your soft palate, which will then cause your saliva to drop down, which when your saliva production increases, it signifies to your body that you're in rest and digest, so it can help your nervous system calm down sooner. And a lot of people that experience anxiety and panic get a dry mouth. And then the fire element. And the fire element is all about firing up your imagination. So at this point, it's firing up your imagination with those images that you have assigned with the colors, and the emotions. So if you thought that if yellow is your color for joy, and that's the emotion that you want to bring into your body, you would flood your mind with images in the color yellow. Let's say if that was your color, right? So for me, sunsets or sunrises or sunflowers or my dog who's yellow, right? Things like that. I have Jack and Nanny B, The Adventures of Jack and Nanny B Monsters Edition. And this follows Jack and Nanny B in an adventure where they are hunting monsters. Monsters are actually just little boys and girls who have been rejected or unloved and cast aside by society. So Jack and Nanny B go, and they are armed with love and light, and they shine love onto the children, and Jack befriends them. And in the process of, reminding the children that they are loved and they are belonged, they turn back into the little children, little boys and girls that they are. And then there's Choo Choo Charlie and his adventures with Nanny B. And this is a series that the first book follows Choo Choo Charlie and his nanny as they take a train to Storyland. And the story is no spitting, no biting, no hitting, and no kicking. It's a perfect story for little children who are at that stage where they're pinching or biting or doing all of those things. So it starts off where Charlie interacts with an ostrich who spits on him, and Nanny runs over and says, no spitting, no biting, no hitting, and no kicking, and the ostrich runs away. And then he almost gets bit, and she does the same thing, and he gets hit, and she does the same thing. And then Charlie sees 2 kangaroos, and he stays back and watches them. And when the one kangaroo kicks the other one, he runs over and he says what his nanny had been saying all along, telling them not to do it. So he learns to say it himself and to tell them not to do it. So they're really cute books. They're all available on Amazon, or the ebook is available on my website on Sha'Ryah.com. So I will see you guys back here on Tuesdays. My lives will be Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1:44 p.m. MST, so Mountain Time, whatever that works out for you. So 3:45 if you're in if you're in Eastern Time Zone, 2:45 if you're Pacific Time Zone, and so on and so forth. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your evening. I'm going to hop off here. If you need anything, go to my profile, check out my website, and thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. Mwah. Love you guys. Bye, guys. Love you.